So guys, the Rugby World Cup draw has just been released. 24 teams confirmed, some interesting permutations and fixtures that we're just going to unpack today. So if you haven't liked, subscribe, please do so. Help us grow the channel, help us to get to 500 subscribers. We are almost there. Let's dive into it. So guys, 24 teams have been confirmed now for the Rugby World Cup. There's going to be a round of 16 introduced. So the top 2 teams qualify directly. The 4 best third place teams also progress. So the tournament is being hosted in Australia, as we all know. Now let's list all the pools. In Pool A, we've got New Zealand, Australia, Chile, and Hong Kong. This is going to be exciting because New Zealand always beats Australia. I'm excited to see what's going to happen in this one. In Pool B, we've got South Africa, Italy, Georgia, and Romania. In Pool C, we've got Argentina, Fiji, Spain, and Canada. In Pool D, we've got Ireland, Scotland, Uruguay, and Portugal. In Pool E, we've got France, Japan, USA, Samoa. And in Pool F, we've got England, Wales, Tonga, and Zimbabwe. So I think the teams that are from Pool A to Pool D have a huge advantage because they face the weaker teams that are going to finish top of the 4 third place teams. So this shapes out the knockout pathways in a very exciting way. So this World Cup is going to be different because it's bigger and it's going to be much more exciting. We've got a round of 16, and I think rivalries are going to just ignite with Australia playing England, Ireland facing Scotland, and Wales playing England as well. That's just exciting. But South Africa remains the heavy favorites of this one. Back-to-back world champions, just chasing a historic three-peat in the next world. I mean, their form has just been frightening this year. 73-0 versus Wales, 11 tries with ease scored, dominant pack and elite defense. So I think we're just excited to see how the Springboks are going to shape up here. But the most exciting thing right now is that the Springboks could actually face New Zealand if New Zealand topped Group A and South Africa also tops Group B. So it's going to be exciting to see what happens in that game because I think South Africa might be at a slight disadvantage because they have the weakest teams in their group and they might be underprepared to face the All Blacks, and with the All Blacks having to face Australia in the knockout stage. So it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to shape up. I mean, the round of 16 should be a much easier pathway for the teams from Pool A to Pool D because they'll face the third place teams again, like I said. So South Africa should have an easy path to the quarterfinals, but going from there is from the round of 16, but going from there is just going to be interesting. So I think Wales and Tonga also could face up with the Springboks as well. But I think there might be room for a surprise in Group F in particular with England, Wales, Tonga, and Zimbabwe. I think Zimbabwe would fancy their chances versus Wales and Tonga and get a surprise in one of those groups because we've seen it happen before. We've seen the likes of Japan beating South Africa, and I think just looking at Pool A, I think New Zealand are the clear favorites in that one. Australia also are big contenders. We'll see what the team will look like in 2 years' time. And this rivalry between All Blacks and Australia has been always big. And with Australia hosting that World Cup, New Zealand would want to make a statement, obviously, in that group, as well as the Australian fans would just create pressure. And I think the semi-final is what's looking really key because South Africa might actually also face France. Because I'm expecting France to also top the Group E. So that game would be epic as well. There will be a lot of talk and a lot of, history between the two teams. And Argentina, for me, are the dark horse. They've been improving. They've shown that they can beat anyone, especially in the Rugby Championship. And also, Ireland remain dangerous again. I mean, England also have a possibility to be finalists because they've done it in the past and they're starting to peak at the right time. But I think the Boks still stay the overwhelming favorites. Their squad depth is unmatched. I think their mindset is built for champions. The path to the final looks clear for me. And I think the Springboks will make the final, and I think they'll make a huge run and win it again. But there's a lot of excitement because Zimbabwe is returning to the World Cup for the first time since 1991. And it's a huge moment for Zimbabwe rugby as well. So I think there are opportunities for Zimbabwe in that pool and they could surprise quite a lot of teams. But England look strong favorites for that pool for sure, but Wales have shown that they can be very inconsistent. Tonga are very unpredictable at every tournament, so I can give them a real chance to make third in that group. So Wales could find themselves in trouble in that group if they don't really show up. But as for me, the Zimbabwean story is very inspiring. I mean, for me, just being from Zimbabwe as well, fans are just excited to see their return, and the tournament's already buzzing worldwide. And I think the Zimbabweans also have a lot of fans in Australia, just like South Africa, and also just the both countries representing Africa. It's going to be exciting. But the standout fixture here obviously is Australia versus New Zealand, guys. I mean, this is one of the oldest rivalries in world rugby history, a rivalry built on history, decades of bruising encounters, guys, and the crowds are always electric. And especially now in Australia, I think home advantage is just going to lift the crowd. It's just going to make the atmosphere really strong. And New Zealand just bringing a match consistency. I think the All Blacks have always beaten Australia, I think, since maybe 2016. So the skill levels are quite different, but this just being an encounter that has so much history is just going to be quite exciting. And I'm interested to see if one of the teams might actually be willing to lose that game so that they can avoid playing the Springboks. I think Australia would be more likely to do that, but because they'll be representing their badge, they'll be representing their country, and Australia want redemption badly because they've been poor in the last 3 to 4 years. But I think they've got a young squad. They're trying to build something. So the loser might actually control the knockout pathway by facing the weaker opponents. But I think if you want to win the World Cup, you have to beat the best. So expect explosive backline battles. This rivalry is just going to be ignited again. I'm excited to see that as well. So this World Cup is just exciting. There's so many stories and so many permutations that are just going to happen. I'm going to be sharing more content around this World Cup. So guys, please like, share, subscribe.